Hey everyone, welcome to the 2026 edition of the Roadmap Reveal. This is a session that we generally do about once a year. Always kind of excited to be able to spend a little bit of time talking to people about what we've done over the course of the past year, what we've delivered, what we're building on and working on during 2026. So during the course of the next hour, we're going to be going through some of that information. We'll take you through a variety of interesting topics, and then we've allowed time for Q&A towards the end. So as we're progressing, feel free to drop questions into the chat. We may not get to them as we're going through, but at the end we'll have time to cycle through and make sure that we've addressed anything that people have raised. So in terms of a quick introduction, I'm Chris Skelly, Chief Product Officer. I live in Washington, D.C., and I've been with the organization about 4.5 years. And Gabriel, would you like to introduce yourself as well?
Hi, everybody. My name is Gabriel Engel. I'm the founder, CEO, and being in between the US and Europe and Brazil. So no particular place.
Our world traveler.
A world traveler. And being with Rocket.Chat for, since the beginning, 10 years, I guess.
That's right. Throughout. Okay, let's go ahead and dive in. I don't think I have the slide controls. There we go. Now I do. I'm sure it was user error. So, all right, so to talk about the agenda today. So first, we're going to go through a brief introduction talking about Secure CommsOS and how we deliver secure, asynchronous, and real-time interoperable collaboration. In this segment, we're going to talk a little bit about what we did in 2025, what we've recently delivered. It's important context because a lot of the things that we go into that we're focusing on in 2026 build on that base. So we'll cycle through that. Then this year, we're going to talk in a little bit more detail about real-time communications. Of course, Rocket.Chat is known for messaging and our asynchronous messaging capabilities. More and more, we're seeing the need for organizations to be able to seamlessly escalate to real-time comms, and that's a key area of focus for us as we go through the year ahead. All right. Next, we're going to be talking about federation and interoperability. And of course, with our focus on secure collaboration, we always remind people that secure doesn't necessarily mean isolation. It means appropriate security within the network fabric that each customer has selected, where they can be sure to be able to federate with other messaging applications, be able to integrate with other vital systems. So we'll talk a little bit about federation and interoperability. Next, we're going to talk about Launchpad, which is a new deployment CLI that we have launched, and we'll talk about the evolution and what to expect during 2026. All right. As mentioned, then we'll close with Q&A. All right. So I'm going to jump right into things with topic number 1. Okay. So Rocket.Chat version 8 launched in January. We've been really excited about the rapid take-up across our user base. At this point, this is the fastest adoption that we've ever had of any version. And we think that that's driven by a lot of really great capabilities. So Rocket.Chat version 8 is here to unlock your team's potential. I'm going to go through a few of the highlights. And then as we go through the hour, you'll see how these tie into some of the things that we're doing in the year ahead. Okay. So first, native matrix protocol federation. So version 8, in version 8, we have enabled native matrix protocol federation. There is no need to deploy a separate external home server. Out of the box, you can deploy Rocket.Chat workspaces that can natively federate with other Rocket.Chat workspaces or other matrix protocol client, protocol compliant clients. That's hard to say. And this is a huge change. This is something that we invest a ton of energy in during the course of 2025, because as we mentioned, secure collaboration does not necessarily mean isolation. And over the year prior, we had been working a lot with an external home server that was a great way to get started. Great way for everyone to get an introduction to Matrix protocol. But we found that we had issues in terms of scalability, reliability. It created an extra blocker in terms of deployment and an additional asset to deploy. So we made the decision to just simply build a home server into Rocket.Chat. That is inherent within version 8, available out of the box as soon as you deploy and fire up Rocket.Chat version 8. Okay. Second, ABAC, attribute-based access control. As I think anyone who's familiar with Rocket.Chat knows, we have long had very granular permission sets that can be used for our role-based access control, combined into custom roles as our customers see fit. ABAC provides an extra layer over that role-based access control layer. Now organizations can dynamically manage room access based on user attributes at a particular moment in time. So how it works, if a user is being added to a particular room, their attributes, and think of things like their classification clearance level, the department that they're in, the program that they operate within, those attributes are evaluated by Rocket.Chat compared to the criteria that have been set for that particular room to make a decision about whether that person can be added to the room. Really important table stakes kind of requirement. If Gabriel, for example, is adding me to a particular room, he may not be aware at a particular moment in time what my clearance level might be, or he might not be aware of the program that I'm affiliated with. The ABAC controls ensure that regardless of the knowledge of the user who is attempting to add a user to the room, you're getting consistency across the board for applying the appropriate rule set when making those decisions. In addition, important thing to highlight, people's attributes can change all the time, right? If I get downgraded from top secret to secret, if I leave a program and I'm participating in another program, as soon as the attributes are updated, the user, if they no longer meet the criteria for the room, will be kicked from the room. So it's dynamic, it's continuous evaluation to ensure that every conversation is confined to the people who are authorized to be part of that conversation. Okay, so important step forward. Third, voice calls. So Rocket.Chat voice is now a core part of version 8, can be activated for any workspace without deploying additional assets. There's also the option to enable external SIP calling. So within a workspace, WebRTC calling, no additional assets, your team can be conducting voice calls between each other. If you choose to, you can enable SIP calling. You can connect a SIP trunk or your PBX if you so choose. And at that point, then you're able to support global external calling. Okay. And we're going to be talking a little bit about the evolution of voice. A few other things to highlight before we start looking at the year ahead. Intelligent search. So for anyone who's a longtime user of Rocket.Chat, this search is something we've gone back and forth on for a long time. One of the challenges that we've seen, or actually a couple of them to note them, first, when people are operating in a messaging environment, traditional keyword search, traditional inverted index search doesn't tend to work well in terms of how people write, how people communicate in messaging. And what we saw is that the search utility had to have a semantic understanding capability. So what we've delivered with intelligent search is truly that, semantic intelligent search, that when we're indexing all the messages, we're converting them into vector embeddings so that we can do then a vector retrieval that determines semantic similarity, right? So if Gabriel is having a conversation about a particular threat and I'm in information security and I search on intrusion or detection or anything that is closely semantically related, I don't have to get the exact keywords, right? I'll get the relevant information. It's all done securely. It's all aware of which rooms each user has access to, so that obviously their search results are scoped and filtered to the rooms that they are authorized to to have access to. The reason I'm so excited about it, well, two reasons. One, I tend to be disorganized and I have to find messages every day. So just pure productivity, being able to quickly find a conversation that I was having with Gabriel or is having with Cody at any given moment is a ton of productivity value. The other thing is that it accelerates the ability and the time it takes for a team to go from inquiry to insight, connecting dots across disparate channels across a workspace is super important. So we'll talk a little bit about search and the evolution from here. All right. And then lastly, end-to-end encryption. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about what we had done with end-to-end encryption leading up to version 8 and through version 8 as well. So end-to-end encryption, as we know, security is an ever-changing landscape. And so during the course of 2025, we made a variety of improvements to our end-to-end encryption, to our algorithm, to our token management, to the user experience of end-to-end encryption. And the reason for that is that we rarely see cases where organizations are using end-to-end encryption across all of their rooms, but we do see many situations where organizations have selected certain highly secure critical conversations for which they activate end-to-end encryption. So it's important for us to be continuing to improve the quality of that offering. And as we're getting into 2026, we're seeing the usage grow. That's translating specifically from the improvements that we made during 2025. So like I said, those are 5 key foundational things that we did during 2025 that we're building on in 2026. We're really excited about the use cases that these have unlocked. We're really excited to get feedback. So as we go, one thing to note, anytime that anybody has feedback, please reach out to us. Please reach out to us on GitHub, reach out to us directly, through members of our team. We're very interested to hear about your experiences working with these capabilities. So I'll pause before we transition into what's ahead in 2026. But Gabriel, it would be great if you had additional thoughts you wanted to share on version 8 overall.
Yeah, absolutely. Version 8 for us, it was definitely one of the most important milestones. I think you can see the theme of getting those features together. It was very focused on a specific use case about security, about improving the collaboration aspects and the real-time messaging. So adding the voice, adding extra layer security, this ABAC on, so people, rather than just creating a channel and relying on knowledge from the individuals about the users about who can have access to communication, the fact that the system starts to be proactively managing access to channels and to data, and for us embedding the Matrix protocol, the whole federation stack inside Rocket.Chat, also adding a whole new level of security and interoperability with other systems. There are more things that we're going to talk about, some other bridges on federation that I'm not going to spoil some of the surprise. But V8 version 8 was very focused on security and very focused on the challenges that we are seeing our customers facing in the field. So I think no version before this one have been more aligned on the feature set that it brought to market. And so I'm very excited about being able to release version 8, and as excited with the things that come ahead that we're going to be talking about now.
Awesome. Okay, let's dive into it. So the year ahead. Let's start with real-time communications. So Secure CommsOS enables teams to escalate seamlessly from async messaging to real-time communications. So that when we talk real-time communications, what are we really talking about? What we're talking about is voice, screen share, video. And we'll talk a little bit today about what we're working on each of those real-time communication modalities. Okay. One thing that's important to note is that each user, each workspace owner can select the capabilities and providers that fit your particular mission's needs. Whatever is needed for your operations, we are solution agnostic, and we endeavor to deliver the appropriate connectors so that whichever provider, if you want to use an outside provider, we're able to provide appropriate support. Okay. All right, so let's talk about Rocket.Chat Voice to get started. So we're really excited to introduce Rocket.Chat Voice. I use it every single day to annoy members of my team. It's a great way to go from a conversation where sometimes in messages not everything is captured. Easy way to just quickly jump on a call, make sure that everything is clear. So far, great adoption across the user base, and we have more work to do. So what's coming next? So first, Rocket.Chat Voice is currently available on web and desktop. As of the end of April, the team is well underway and into the testing phase. We'll be introducing Rocket.Chat Voice for mobile, for both iOS and Android. What does that mean? It means that callers will be able to users will be able to initiate a call from their mobile app or have calls ring through to their mobile app. In each case, we are using the native call handlers on each device to ensure that you don't have to have Rocket.Chat active or in focus on the app in order to receive a call. So we're excited about the rollout. As I mentioned, the team is well underway, working on key items relating to accessibility and other considerations for us, and the launch will be at the end of April. Okay. Next, a lot of our customers, a lot of our users, a lot of organizations are moving away from other platforms such as Skype for Business, right? And as we provide an alternative, we are also looking at different capabilities of the platforms that those organizations are coming from as they migrate to Rocket.Chat. So a few things. A contact list. As I mentioned before, voice can be used for internal calling or external calling. For internal calling, it's pretty straightforward. We know exactly who the team member is, etc. For external calling, if you have an inbound number, you want to know who that person is. So we are adding a contact list where users have the ability to flag a set of favorites for users that, whether they're internal and external or external. And then for external users, the typical capabilities that you expect of if I get an external call from Gabriel, I can put in Gabriel's information so his external number is associated with his name. That way, the next time Gabriel is calling me from an outside number, I know exactly who's calling. So standard table stakes, we're introducing the contact list soon. Voicemail. Right now in Rocket.Chat Voice, you have the ability to leave an audio note. That's something that's been part of Rocket.Chat for quite some time. So if I call a member of the team, they see it's me, so they ignore the call. I can quickly shift over and leave the same information in an audio note. We are more tightly integrating audio notes with our calls to produce essentially a voicemail flow. So if I'm making an internal call, I'll be prompted if the user rejects the call or is not available for the call to leave an audio note. And same thing, we will have voicemail handling for external calls that from the user's perspective looks exactly like the audio note handling. Okay. A few more things, getting into some of the weeds. For organizations that are dealing with external calls, we're introducing inbound call routing, which is closely tied to dial plan management. I am not a PBX and SIP experts. Fortunately, we have folks on the team who are. And we're introducing the capabilities to ensure that when inbound calls are coming in, if you're an organization, for example, that uses an IVR, that we're able to handle the routing to make sure that the call is routed to the appropriate individual. Okay, we can do that now. Requires some extra work. We're making it easier to manage the requisite dial plan information, the requisite routing information to make it seamless. Okay. Last two items. This next one is really important to me, call merge. We're not looking for voice to become a full conferencing solution with large number of users, but we all have the expectation that if I'm on a call with Gabriel and we need information from Cody, that I should be able to make a call to Cody, merge the calls together. So we're working on and investigating call merge, and we do expect that in 2026, we'll also introduce that capability. All right. And then lastly, this is one that's technical, but just to note it, turn server appliance. As everyone knows, Rocket.Chat is deployed into a variety of different network topologies, sometimes fully isolated air gap SCIFs, etc. Sometimes is deployed in a connected environment available across a non-homogeneous network. In some of those cases, IP discovery can be a challenge. Generally, the solution is a turn server. I won't get into the details of what that is. Right now, as organizations are deploying Rocket.Chat Voice, if a turn server is needed, we work with them to deploy that. Not usually a big blocker for us, but we are looking to standardize and deliver a turn server appliance where needed for organizations operating at scale across non-homogeneous networks. Okay. All right, I'm going to pause for a second. Gabriel, anything you wanted to jump in and add? And at the same time, I'll read through the questions.
No, I think the fact on how we integrated, a great deal of work was integrating into the native dialing system of the cell phones, because we were very keen on having the best experience for the users. It becomes something that you can use not just when you're in the desk, but when you're in the field. And I think that has been a long time waited and requested feature. And I'm happy that we're finally capable of not just bringing it to our users, but bringing it as the best way possible, building it natively into the mobile and having the perfect experience that people are expecting from Rocket.Chat.
Indeed. Okay, moving forward. What's next? Going beyond voice. Screen sharing. Quick shout out to our engineering team. This is an item that I'm really proud of, the way that the engineering team works and the pace at which they work. So this is an initiative that was kicked off as a POC within engineering that has moved along very quickly. And we will be providing first in beta and then quickly moving to production for Rocket.Chat users. So screen sharing. What is it? Very straightforward. Simple WebRTC screen shares. We'll have the ability to click to share your screen from a voice call. So if I've called Gabriel, and I've run into this every single day, I want to show him a particular spreadsheet or particular work plan that we have. Right now, I'm not able to do that. As soon as we launch screen sharing on that call, I'll be able to simply share whatever it is that I want to from my desktop, from a particular tab, from the overall browser. A couple of different options. We do have full screen or floating, right? Either can work well depending, this is what we're seeing, depending on the situation. Floating is really an expansion of the existing call utility. It enables me to continue to navigate through different rooms, different conversations within Rocket.Chat while I'm on that screen share, or just simply because sometimes you need more real estate, you can expand out to a full screen view of whatever it is that you're sharing. So really excited about screen sharing. Like I said, on a personal note, I was really excited that the engineering team very much independently drove this forward and surprised me with it. I really do appreciate that. And I think Rocket.Chat users will appreciate it as well.
That is also one of the most requested. Once people start using our voice, because the video, like looking at each other's faces, there is some value in it, but definitely on working together in specific tasks or meetings or doing presentations, screen sharing was the very most requested feature for this real-time collaboration. And I'm so, like I said, the engineering team took the task and decided to work ahead of a roadmap. So it's one of those things that makes us proud of the team.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And to emphasize, similar to voice, this is person-to-person screen sharing. And then as we progress on voice with call merge for those small kind of huddles that are needed. Screen share will be available across those small groups. Important to note, one of the things we'll be talking about next is video conferencing. So it's not to be confused with the large scale video conferencing capabilities. Okay. All right. Okay, embedded video connector. So for those who are already familiar with the platform, I'm sure you're aware that we have for a long time now had a standard video conferencing connector that is available. What that allows you to do is from any room, you can launch or join a meeting, and you jump to essentially a separate window to participate in that meeting. That is a widely used capability of Rocket.Chat. We work with a variety of providers, but we also partner very heavily with PEXIP. PEXIP, we share a certain amount of common DNA in terms of their focus on secure operations. So we work with PEXIP quite a bit. We are currently working together to evolve the experience. As I mentioned, with the existing solution, which is highly functional, used widely, the conversation jumps to a separate window. Similar to what I was just talking about with the floating voice call widget, the embedded video connector will provide that same kind of experience, so you can stay within the Rocket.Chat surface, continue your work across rooms while participating in an embedded video call. Okay. It provides very quick in-chat video escalation in the same way that the current connector does. Our solution, as always, is provider agnostic. But as I mentioned also, we partner very heavily with PEXIP. And so we are ensuring that at launch, the capability is PEXIP certified, right? If you're an existing PEXIP customer, you can simply plug into your current PEXIP deployment and have the embedded video experience. Okay. Similarly, persistent chat. If the platform supports persistent chat like PEXIP does, then users have the option of setting that conference call to have an in-conference chat that is a Rocket.Chat discussion. What are the advantages? It converts that in-conference chat from being ephemeral and it goes away at the end of the conference to something that is retained and can be accessed going forward from within Rocket.Chat. Okay. And the last item, I'm always hesitant on things that we're exploring and things that we're digging into. But with the embedded video connector and the existing video connector, we're also looking at tighter integration of the security policies across Rocket.Chat and the video conferencing provider. So that's something that we continue to investigate. Currently, the way things work is it is very closely integrated in that the particular room that video escalation is triggered from, only the members of that room are able to access that video conference. There are, in certain cases, external channels where Rocket.Chat is currently blind to those external methods of joining a video conference. So that's the area that we're exploring in order to be able to surface the appropriate policy information so that at those other entry points, the appropriate security decisions can be made. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead on this one since we're about 30 minutes in. So federation and interoperability. What we focus on is, of course, Rocket.Chat is providing secure collaboration, but that's not only within a single organization. In many cases, we need to enable people to securely collaborate across organizations, need to be able to connect securely in order to be mission ready for the environments that we support. So we're going to go through a couple of things. First, what we're doing in terms of securely federating workspaces via Rocket.Chat native matrix federation, where that's evolving to next, what's coming next. And then secondly, when we think about interoperability, we're really thinking about the critical systems that need to be integrated. So how can we connect your team with vital information systems to accelerate decision cycles. So we'll talk a little bit about both of these. All right. Okay. Before we get started, Gabriel, any other kind of key points on this, or are we good?
Yeah, the federation. I think we talked about this already, so not want to bore people with, but the whole federation piece, the amount of work that we put into it, and the relevance and the importance of what we released of Rocket.Chat actually becoming a node on the Matrix network, it's a game changer for us, right? Using this protocol now as the default, even to Rocket.Chat communication, different Rocket.Chat servers. That's how much we are embedding the protocol into our own infrastructure, and that makes a big difference than if it was just a bridge. We know that other platforms, they deploy this kind of capability as just being a bridge to the protocol. So you have to run a server in front. You have to rely on maintaining two systems. There's, like you mentioned in the beginning, there's a lot of limitations on what you can do and how the amount of data that this bridge is able to relay back to the main system, and how you can control the server in front. So for us, once you start looking into it and decide like there's only one way to do it properly, and was incorporating the protocol into our own system, so you could develop from the ground up and have all the capabilities you wanted and extend beyond with Rocket.Chat features. So that's one of the parts that excites me the most, and that I'm more really looking forward for what we're building in the future on top of the protocol.
Indeed. Okay. So let's jump into some of the details. So Matrix Federation improvements as we continue to evolve. As Gabriel was just talking about, we've invested heavily in the foundation, right? So at this point now, Matrix protocol is at the core to all of our federation, right? So it doesn't matter if we're dealing with an external Matrix client or Rocket.Chat to Rocket.Chat. Everything is going through Matrix protocol, all handled with the native internal home server. So what's next? First, we've done a lot of load testing, and what we're seeing is the networks of workspaces that come into play very widely, right? You can end up with a situation where you have a small number of workspaces, really high volume of federated messages, or in some cases, large number of workspaces, relatively low number of federated messages. So we built out a load test for evaluating all of those, and we're continuing to expand the number of different operating scenarios that we're publishing load test information on. One thing to note is that load test tool is available for us to work with our customers and go through custom scenarios where needed. So that's always an ongoing focus. As I mentioned, before we implemented the native home server, our primary blocker was performance at scale, reliability at scale. So that's why we're focused on the load tests. We're very confident at this point in our native solution in terms of delivering performant, reliable matrix federated messaging that is targeted to ensure that we have high degree of reliability for each of our customers' use cases. So it's flexible. We're happy to work with you guys on load testing as needed. All right. Next item, circuit breakers. This is something that we've actually seen in load testing. We've seen working with customers is the nature of federated communications is that one node, one Rocket.Chat workspace can, in theory, essentially DDoS another workspace, right? If you flood activity into a particular workspace from another federated server, you can create a situation where you're essentially creating denial of service. So we're building in circuit breakers. In general, it's not a case that we've seen. Generally, people are federating with known, trusted servers, but there are cases where it could come up inadvertently, and we're making sure that we have the appropriate circuit breakers so that if a workspace is being flooded from activity from another workspace or many workspaces, we can cut that off and ensure that we don't have any disruption on each of the workspaces. Okay. Next item, just evolution in the capabilities. We're enabling read receipts. So if I'm interacting with a user on another server, I'll be able to see that user, if enabled, if that user has read the message that I've sent. That helps in terms of just visibility into both the delivery status and the consumption status on the message. Next, remote profile rendering. This is one of those niceties that I am also excited to have, where right now for federated users, they simply display with their matrix protocol address. As we progress forward, and this is something that is coming very soon, we're adding the display of the name and the avatar of each user. Again, a nicety, doesn't affect functionality, but I think it's an important step as we go. All right. And then lastly, XMPP bridging. What we are seeing is rapid growth with the more modern protocol, matrix protocol. That said, a lot of organizations that we support do need to interact with more legacy XMPP clients, some of which are being replaced, some of which are continuing to operate. So we are actively in the process of evaluating how we want to bridge or federate with those XMPP clients. We haven't made final decisions on whether that will be essentially translating through as a bridge through the native home server, or whether we do that directly to Rocket.Chat core. But we're evaluating the solution. We expect to have updates soon, and we will be delivering an XMPP bridge for organizations that are using XMPP clients such as OpenFire or other ones. All right. I'll pause. Gabriel, obviously Federation is near and dear to your heart, so please jump in if you have additional items.
Yeah, no, I think we cover it. I think it's like I said, it's bringing more of those features, being mindful of all the different use cases that we have to cover. We understand Rocket.Chat is being built and used on critical use cases. So for us, understand all those different scenarios and be ready for those different scenarios, and have all the ways to protect on a zero trust environment. Even your trusted allies and servers can start a denial of service attack. So the idea that you belong to a network, but you have to always be ready if any of those nodes can be compromised, that your nodes can have the strong defenses against that. I think those are, for me, what excites me about the way we're building federation into Rocket.Chat, the way we incorporated the protocol, and the way we are trying to go far and beyond to make sure that you use the right and an open protocol, but we deploy and implement in a way that is aligned to what our customers and our users come to expect out of Rocket.Chat.
Yep. Just to address a question that just came in on Federation from Martin, asking if the things that we're doing to improve on the solution are being submitted back to Matrix. As we progress, in some cases, yes, that is a good thing for us to be doing. In terms of a few of these specifics, some of the things like the remote profile rendering, we're actually leveraging the protocol, so it's not incremental to the protocol to do that. On circuit breakers, those are things that we'll evaluate and determine whether it's something that is inherent to the protocol or inherent to the client, and we're always open to those different considerations. Okay. Progressing through, we have a couple more topics, and then that will leave some time for Q&A at the end. All right, so Rocket.Chat AI. Rocket.Chat AI has been an exciting evolution. What we currently offer with Rocket.Chat AI is intelligent search, as we've talked about, secure knowledge-based management, and summarization. So a user can jump into a particular channel, a lot of activity. They can go ahead and summarize a thread or a portion of the conversation in that channel. Great productivity solution. So we have a really good foundation in place. An important note in terms of how we think about Rocket.Chat AI, right? We are not here to be developers of new models. We're not going to create the Rocket.Chat LLM. There's no reason for us to do that. We're also not really focused on simply just plugging in a variety of cloud services. The organizations that we work with are focused on their security, sovereignty, their privacy of their information. So everything we do with Rocket.Chat AI, we think in terms of secure, on-premises, in some cases, many cases, air-gap solutions where we can provide robust AI capabilities without a single byte of data ever leaving the building, ever leaving the possession of the organizations that we support. That's our focus every day. That's where we believe that we provide a ton of value to the organizations that we support. Okay, so what are we doing next? We talked about intelligent search. As we progress, we will be considering different hybrid search offerings. Any search tool has to deal with massive scale over time, right? What tends to happen with semantic search, super effective. At some point, you begin to reach limits where you get a degradation in terms of the relevancy of the results that are returned, right? What can be very effective for 1 million records or 2 million records is not necessarily as effective for 10 million or 100 million records or messages. The path to make sure that we are in a situation where we can support hundreds of millions of messages, we're investigating hybrid search. What does that mean? It means that we'll be combining additional strategies with our semantic search, inverted index, keyword, et cetera, together with a re-ranking mechanism. We expect throughout 2026 to continue to look at those scaling mechanisms. We'll have more information similar to if anyone's read the recent white paper on semantic search. We'll be publishing that information so everyone is fully aware of the work that we do and the mathematical proofs that we go through to ensure that we're providing highly relevant results. Okay. That's a fun one for the team to really dig into the nitty-gritty of what we're doing. The second item, the search UI, the user experience. We were very intentional on launching intelligent search with a search bot experience, right? If Gabriel's looking for information on a conversation that we had, he can simply ask a question. He can say, hey, show me recent messages. I'm looking for recent messages on hybrid search that Chris Skelly had sent, I think within the last 3 months. He can word it exactly that same way. The search bot will be able to interpret that, turn it into a set of filters that are then used in the query to the vector embeddings and return relevant results. It's a great path to get started with that fits really well with our construct. We are a messaging application at our core. So conducting a search by simply sending a message to the bot fits very nicely. That said, over time, the user experience will evolve. We will incorporate the search bar at the top for general semantic search as we go. We will look at other indicators so that organizations who are choosing to index only select rooms, not all rooms, the users will be able to see an indicator to know which rooms have been indexed. A variety of things that we'll do on the user experience. Okay. The next one's really important. So MCP, Model Context Protocol, has, I think, as people probably know, very quickly emerged as the standard for agentic AI data retrieval and interactions across different servers. For those who are familiar with Rocket.Chat Apps Engine, Apps Engine is a terrific utility that organizations every day use to create apps that they deploy into their workspace for doing things like posting data from related systems into Rocket.Chat and handling it appropriately, to react to different event triggers within Rocket.Chat and send information out to related systems. That's done via REST API, as you would expect. What we will be providing in 2026 is the ability, an extension of Apps Engine, so that Apps Engine developers are able to create apps that act as MCP clients. This is really important in that any system that you have within your ecosystem that acts as an MCP server, that Rocket.Chat app will be able to make inquiries, interact with that MCP server in a seamless way to support whatever agentic flows you are targeting. So key Swiss Army knife type of connection point that we're enabling in 2026, so that, for example, you can create an app that is interacting with your project management system to retrieve status on projects, data on project status that can be used and routed to your on-prem LLM in order to, for example, prepare status summaries for you. So really exciting capabilities. We'll have more information on it soon. Okay. And then lastly, another item to note, the transcripts connector, which may sound amorphous, but I'll explain what it is. Very specifically, I had mentioned Pexip before, one of the video conferencing providers that we partner with. Pexip, like other video conference providers, has the ability to record conferences, convert the conference transcript into, well, convert it into text. And what we're providing is a connector so that organizations who choose to can load those transcripts into Rocket.Chat so that they are indexed for intelligent search purposes. Just like everything else that's retrieved via intelligent search, all those transcripts are tagged for the appropriate room so that all of the security, all of the room level security is carried into the inquiry. So a transcript that is posted with it for a particular room, once it's indexed, only participants within that room have the ability to search and get retrieval results associated with that particular transcript. So excited about that one. Similar to what we were talking about before, excited to work with Pexip on delivering that in the first half of the year. Okay. I'll pause, and then we have one more topic to get through, so we'll try to keep things on track.
On Rocket.Chat AI, I think one of the important things to mention is our mindfulness, like the care that it took about when approaching AI, from the point of view of privacy, security, like who has access to data. Because we talk about, obviously, we want to be able to implement AI without any information, any data leaving the organization or the government, the institution infrastructure. So there was no dependency on external components. Everything is built in a way that can be deployed on-prem. And beyond that, even between users, like I said, it's all about creating the indexes in a way that you can have the right answer and the right access to information that mirrors the information that you have access inside the platform, the channels that you do belong to, the conversations that you did have. So it's very important. AI is not leaking information between users. So it took us time to build this, a lot of thinking, a lot of research, and it's been a very interesting journey on how to do AI responsibly. And I think that's also, again, something that we under our users come to expect from us. And I was very happy with the results and how we build this, being true to those values and to that promise.
Yep. Well said. Okay. Our last topic, Launchpad. One more thing, right? So Launchpad, what is it? Launchpad is our new deployment CLI that can be used to deploy, manage, scale, monitor, heal your Rocket. Our intent as we deal with more and more very challenging network environments and isolated SCIFs and air-gapped environments and such, is to make sure that we are providing the tools that enable any organization to manage Rocket.Chat, scale Rocket.Chat, monitor Rocket.Chat very effectively, without providing a huge burden and creating a huge burden on the SRE team, the team that manages that infrastructure. So what is Launchpad? Let me tell you a little bit about it. Launchpad is incremental. So we're not taking anything away in terms of other deployment paths. We have 3 really strong deployment paths. You can use Docker Compose, great for POCs, great for monolith with scaling for a variety of environment sizings. Provides a single file deployment with NATs, integration, and reduced TCP overhead, right? So great solution with Docker Compose. For organizations that are connected and focused on microservices deployment, we always have the Helm chart option, right? Flexible Kubernetes deployment, ideal for microservices, deployed with the full monitoring stack of Prometheus, Grafana, and Loki out of the box to give you the monitoring and observability that you need to ensure that your team is well supported, your Rocket.Chat instance is operating the way it should be. Okay. So what does Launchpad provide? Launchpad provides an opinionated, batteries included, as we've been talking about it, command line interface, CLI, that supports either connected or fully air-gapped deployment, right? It's a complete package with software bill of materials and automatic registry injection to make sure that your team is able to get Rocket.Chat up and running very quickly, that you have full visibility, you're able to manage scaling. And then over time, we plan to also introduce self-healing so that if there are issues with the Rocket.Chat workspace, suggestions can be provided or eventually implemented automatically to ensure continuous, robust operation of the workspace. Okay. So where are we going with Launchpad? First of all, Launchpad is already available. Go to Rocket.Chat, search for Launchpad, and you'll see all the information needed to access the CLI. It's new, it's young. We're adding a whole bunch of things as we go. What we're focused on currently is making sure that Launchpad is certified for operation for fully air-gapped environments. Those are some of the most challenging deployments that we have. Launchpad will radically simplify deployment into air-gapped environments. Okay. What's coming next? And definitely get familiar with Rocket.Chat. Monitor our blog, and all of the updates are coming because we are currently updating Launchpad on a monthly basis and introducing new capabilities. Integrated monitoring stack is included. When you deploy via Launchpad, the monitoring tools are not only deployed, but configured with our dashboards for Grafana. Prometheus is included, Loki is included, everything is pre-configured. As noted, everything is packaged. All of the assets that are needed to complete a deployment are packaged up by Launchpad. What that means is using Launchpad, you can install Launchpad CLI on a connected machine. You can make all of your appropriate selections, pull down all of the assets, and then if you need to, you have a fully air-gapped SCIF. If you need to, you can take a flash drive and walk all of those assets into your secure SCIF to complete the deployment. Our goal, like I said, not yet, but what we're moving towards is ensuring that Launchpad provides alerts and then progresses through to self-healing to ensure that your workspace is operating in an optimal way at all times. And then lastly, to make life easy, we're introducing an onboarding wizard for things like license management, all the different selections that you need to make as you are spinning up your environment. And finally, we're including add-on asset support, right? In some cases, some of our capabilities require an additional asset to be deployed. If you want to enable SIP calling, for example, on the voice side, you generally will want to deploy FreeSwitch. We'll be adding in the ability to deploy that additional asset into Launchpad. Same thing with intelligent search. One of the assets that's deployed is the Rocket.Chat AI platform. We will have an option for that platform to be deployed via Launchpad. So I'm really excited about Launchpad. We are not attempting to turn it into a solution that is a fit for everyone. We're providing an opinionated path for a really strong, resilient deployment, but it's additive. If organizations want to use the Helm chart, great, we continue to support that. If you want to use Docker Compose, great, we continue to support that. So really excited about Launchpad. As mentioned, I definitely encourage people to use it, provide feedback as we go, and the team will be listening. Okay. All right, so that does bring us to Q&A. We ran a little bit long. I blame Gabriel for talking too much. But we do have a few minutes left. So just in conclusion, as we go through 2026, we're really excited about the evolution of our real-time communications, key part of our evolution. Our federation and interoperability capabilities will continue to evolve with federation improvements, handling of XMPP, and Rocket.Chat AI will continue to evolve as we scale up search, as we introduce MCP clients that can be built out very easily using Apps Engine. And finally, with Launchpad, our effort is to make sure that Rocket.Chat can be easily deployed, managed, and scaled so that organizations can ensure and be comfortable that they have highly resilient operation with a reasonable total cost of management that they're able to monitor throughout the course of their workspace's life cycle. So we're really excited about all these items, and happy to take questions if there are any that we have not yet gotten to.
Yeah, I was looking at the questions. A few of those we have already answered throughout the conversation or the presentation.
Okay. Cody or Milton, are there any of the questions that we haven't yet had?
Some people are asking if we are already able to deploy Rocket.Chat 8 with an existing home chart.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah,
that's an easy one. Definitely take a look at our documentation. Rocket.Chat 8 is out, has been out since January, and in our documentation you can find the appropriate links for Helm chart assets.
Yes.
Okay.
He's typing in another question from CCNet.
Okay. One item that had come in asking about federation. Do we need a Matrix home server? Just to emphasize, Rocket.Chat version 8 does not require an external Matrix home server. It is built in, fully native within the Rocket.Chat core code. Once you deploy Rocket.Chat, you have the ability to use that home server. Okay.
Yes, the previous development where you would have not just the home server, but its respective database, routing, like container, like there was a whole extra components to be deployed. Now everything runs inside Rocket.Chat, like the same database. So every aspect of the federation now is built in and was redeveloped from zero.
Okay, so I think that pretty much brings us to time at this point. One thing to note, looking back at 2025, one thing that Gabriel and I were really happy about is the initiatives that we talked about at the beginning, the things that we've delivered. We had a really significant amount of user involvement in those builds in terms of the feedback, the guidance that we were getting as we were going through functional and technical design, feedback on what we've built, what's working well, what isn't, what needs to be improved. So I'm hoping and looking forward to continuing that trend in 2026 as we progress. All of the items that we've talked about, please feel free to reach out to our team if your organization would like to participate. There are always ways to participate in in the work, whether it's contributions or simply feedback, discussion sessions on requirements. So to the extent that some of these items resonate in relation to needs of your organization, please reach out and we would love to have those conversations.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of those features are becoming available on version 8, but like we've shown here, they are far from finished, in a sense. There is more things that we're going to be working on. So if you want to be able to give your input, participate as like a design partner, give feedback, that's the perfect timing for engaging with our team to help us build something that is on the most useful way for you.
Yeah, that's right. Our work is never done, right?
Never done.
Okay, everybody, thank you for spending time with us today. I think the recording will be going out shortly after the session ends. Please feel free to share with your colleagues and others, and we look forward to conversations ahead.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining us. See you.
Thanks all.